Hey LinkedIn, all you sales folks out there that are doing B2B sales or really any sales at all, just something that doesn't get talked about a lot, something to consider is confusions. Don't create confusions for your buyers, and this actually happens a lot. It doesn't get talked about a lot. You don't read about it a lot, but you know, a confusion can jam up a cycle. So, you know, it could just be simply in your email or in your contract, like terms that are convoluted or terms that are people don't understand, or it could be, you know, jargon. It could be terms where it's, you know, abbreviated terms or whatever, but you don't want to create confusion. You want to get rid of all confusions for the buyer, and you really have to take responsibility for that. You really have to sort of go the extra distance, go the extra mile to kind of like make sure that they don't have any confusions, and you can't wait for them to tell you that they have a confusion. If it's not going, if the deal isn't progressing, if you aren't making progress, if you aren't closing it, then there's a good chance there's some level of confusion. And I always say that in order to close a deal or in order to make a decision, you know, the buyer needs to be confident. They need to be confident that you are the right solution, you have the right offering, you're going to solve their problem in some way. And number two, they have to understand. They have to understand what you are selling or whatever it is, or you know, how it makes sense for them, different things like that. They have to understand, and they have to be confident in order to make a decision. And part of that is just clearing up confusions. We actually had this today. There was a cycle that just simple, you know, it should have essentially just been signed off on, and then but there was a confusion. It was a, you know, sort of a misduplication or a misunderstanding of what was said. All the same, it created a confusion. We had to clear up the confusion, and then the thing wrapped up. But it's always important to make sure that you check. You know, don't assume, but you really want to take the audience to the point where they fully understand everything. And that may mean more work on your part. Usually it does mean more work. You know, you can be a little bit too lazy sometimes when you're selling. You just kind of go, geez, can you just sign the contract, whatever. But it's important to make sure that you really showcase, you show them, you justify whatever it is that you're selling, you take them through it, make sure that they truly understand. It's not just what you want them to see or what you want to pitch, but do they understand? How is it going to help them? How is it going to solve the problem? You know, what are you going to deploy? What are you going to, you know, deliver? These things matter. And then if you don't do that, then, you know, they're unresponsive, they're ghosting you, they're not calling you back, it's stuck, it's not going. You know, this is one of those things to help remedy that. You know, you got to make sure that they do understand. And sometimes we assume that people understand, but they don't, right? And so you have to make sure that everything's clear. You know, you kind of want to hold their hand and take them through everything and take responsibility. Because if, you know, anything to do with money, I'm sure you've had it yourself where, you know, you got a bill for something or somebody's asking for money for something, and it can create a little bit of an upset, sort of a frustration or angst around it when you don't understand, you know, how is it going to be used, or, you know, what's going to be used for. So anyway, something to consider. Think about that, and that is where showing visuals, like creating beautiful decks, creating beautiful content, creating various different things that are actually going to paint the picture for people, where they can have full comprehensive understanding of what you're going to be doing, and it is clear for them and all stakeholders involved. That is going to make it easier. All right, hope that helps.